Your Steve Jones Show podcast will start shortly. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Brewers Outlet, your beverage supermarket on Reagan Street in Sunbury. Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Today's show brought to you by Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. We're in the holiday spirit right here, aren't we? A little bit of snow on the ground. Everyone going out shopping. We got Santa tonight from 6 to 7. Talk to Santa. 5 more youngsters will get an opportunity tonight, which is awesome. And you want to stock up not just for the weekend, but for the holidays. And by the way, how about Brewers Outlet gift cards? If you're wondering what you want to do, a Brewers Outlet gift card. Wow. And while you're there, imports, domestics, microbrews, they have the best selection of beer anywhere. People love wine coolers. They love water, soft drinks. They have all of that and more. Snacks, lots and lots of snacks. Roast their peanuts fresh and out every day. A great selection, 6 different flavors of slushies. And the pickle bar, led by the barrels and the dills. Indeed, second to none. All at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. And we're in the Sunbury Motors studio, Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors, Kia, routes 11 and 15, Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Our play-by-play call of the day, Brock Purdy, he knows exactly where to find George Kittle.
He looks right, comes left, throws down the sideline, wide open, George Kittle, 30, 20, cuts inside 10, cuts inside again, touchdown, San Francisco!
Well, I thought I was going to say Shikalimi. I think the suit needs to step up his game after hearing that.
S-U-I-T, that spells suita.
What do you think?
That was pretty good. Not going to lie.
That was pretty good. Is right. I was like, wow. That was pretty good. I was impressed. All right. They won last night, beat the Seahawks. They have clinched the division. They're in. The last 2 times they won the West, they made the Super Bowl. All right. So now let's get to wrestling. Penn State, as expected, beat Oregon State. Now they go to New Orleans. They got 3 dual meets coming up, 2 of them on Monday, including North Carolina, and then 1, and we're not sure again, 2, depending on how the tournament goes, on Tuesday. So he's already said he's got already reservations at Dickie Brennan's, Court of Two Sisters, NOLA. That's Emerald's place. That's Emerald's original restaurant, I mean.
That's exactly right. I love me some Emerald.
Pat O'Brien's with the dueling pianos and, yes, the hurricane glasses. And that is Jeff Byers. Jeff, happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you and your beautiful family. Welcome back to the show. I do have to ask, where are you staying? Do you know, in New Orleans?
I think we are staying. My understanding is we're actually staying at the convention center, which is where the wrestling's going to be at the Florian Convention Center.
Well, good. That's fine. You're near. That means you're near the French Quarter.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Pat O'Brien's dueling pianos, Dickie Brennan's, Court of Two Sisters. Come on. NOLA. Come on. Great restaurants. This is your trip. Screams you. Canal Street. Go for it.
I couldn't agree more. For a travel itinerary that usually includes only trips to Minneapolis and Iowa City, New Orleans is a welcome change of scenery on the wrestling schedule.
I'll tell you right now, you have hit the jackpot.
Yes, indeed.
You could be right now in Bloomington. No, I'm going to New Orleans. They're off to a really good start, which is not unexpected to this point. So when you look at the progress they have made, what do you like so far? What has to be better?
Yeah, there's a lot to like, Steve. I mean, I really like where the conditioning is at, and that's, certainly not unusual for this program. But, I think there were a couple of kids that maybe have even surprised themselves with just how far along they are on that end against some of the upper echelon competition that they've faced in some of the matches early in the season. A guy like Shane Van Ness, who just hasn't had a chance to go live, really. I mean, he had 2 matches last year, but the injury really limited him in terms of what he could do. And so I really like where they're at, just conditioning and team chemistry-wise. I just think – I feel like I say this every year, but I mean it every year. I feel like this team is as close, if not closer, than any squad they've had before. And you can just see it with the interaction within the room and within the team, and not just among the starters. I think there's just a really good vibe right now around all of these guys. And, listen, there's some things technique-wise that especially some of the younger guys need to improve on, and they know it, and it'll come. I mean, there's no question about that. I think probably that's the thing I'm most excited about seeing this coming tournament is guys like Shane Van Ness, and certainly Alex Facundo is going to see some guys that are on a much higher plane than anybody they've faced to this point this season. And just getting that experience and test and measuring stick, I think, is big for those guys at this stage of the season.
When I talked with Cale last week, we were talking about Greg Kerkvliet putting on about 25, 30 pounds.
Yeah.
What kind of difference has that made? And it doesn't seem like he's lost a step of quickness in doing it.
No, and I think that's the biggest thing, Steve, is that, he's put on that weight without any discernible. And listen, they do some pretty heavy-duty measuring within the squad in terms of figuring out where they're at with quickness and speed and all of that stuff. And all of that is also showing that he really has not lost a step, that the quickness is and the athleticism is every bit what it was a year ago. And what I think the 25 pounds has done for him is 2 things. One, I just think it has given him a new level of confidence. And I wouldn't exactly describe him as lacking confidence last season, but I think he truly goes out there now believing that there is no way anybody can beat him. And I think he thought last year he could beat anybody, but it's, again, just a subtle difference of now you are really going to have to do something special to beat me because I'm on top of my game, and now I have the strength that I know I can go with absolutely anybody at this weight class. And that's the thing. It's more about the strength than the weight, although the weight, is a substantial and significant part of that. But the other thing I think it really does allow, Steve, is I think he now has the ability to go toe-to-toe with the bigger guys and, not have to fend them off, but to be able to go on the attack and feel comfortable. There were a couple of situations last year against like Gable Steveson and, upper echelon guys, Tony Cassiope, but you could see, and he got in on a shot. He was still shooting, but he wasn't able to finish or didn't have the confidence that he could finish cleanly, and you just don't see that this year, and certainly I think the Cassiope bout was a great, probably the best example of it so far this season.
So let's flip it to the opposite end of the spectrum. Steen at 125. What are you seeing there? Because, look, youth comes into play here. It's been catch as catch can on points. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, it's a confidence thing there, too. And I think, he has a whole lot of talent and just needs to kind of figure out how to use it at this level. I really like the way he is making subtle little adjustments in his game on the technique front. And I think as the season goes along, he's going to get better and better. I don't think, he comes in with some high accolades from high school
Sure.
and well-earned honors. I don't think he is as naturally gifted as some of the other kids in the lineup. And so, I think it's going to be more of a grind for him to try to get, the point where he can get on the podium at some point in his career. But, you love the work ethic, and he's a wrestling smart kid. I mean, he is making those adjustments. I think he's still, truthfully, a little undersized for the weight class. When you look at some of the other top level guys, he's probably walking around at 10 to 15 pounds under what those guys are walking around at when they're not cutting weight. And so, he's at a bit of a disadvantage, but that's, just the reality of the situation he's in, and he's going to have to figure out how to wrestle through that and be the best version of himself he can. And I think he's well on his way to doing that. I like the coachability and the way he approaches the sport.
Something that Cale and I talked about, a couple, 3 questions last week, dealt with Bo Bartlett. When you see a guy finally get to his natural weight to wrestle, what's the difference that you see in him now that he's at the weight that now fits him?
Yeah, I think kind of same thing we've been talking about. Confidence is just such a big part of sports in general and wrestling in particular, and you can just see it. He's more comfortable, confident there. He feels at home at that weight class. I think the biggest thing for him still, Steve, is he is just such a bright, thoughtful kid that I think it almost sometimes gets in the way of just because he has a great natural feel for the sport, and I think there are times where he's just kind of overthinking and overanalyzing when he's out there instead of, hey, just let it roll and let it fly, and you can analyze later what happened. But he definitely. I mean, the potential is through the roof here at this weight, and again, you can just see it in the way he carries himself. There's just a different level of confidence and belief about what he can accomplish here now that he's at what he believes, and that's the most important thing, is his home weight. And I don't think there's any question it's the weight that he's most effective at.
I feel he has benefited in some ways because he wrestled in a different weight class, that he saw things, and in terms of power, he saw certain elements that he can now apply at this weight class. Is that fair?
Yeah, I do think it really helped him from a technical standpoint being at that weight, because there were some things, where he wasn't going to overpower, some of the top kids at that weight.
Right.
So he had to figure some things out and really hone in on some technique. And I think you combine that with now, I think he is as strong and powerful as anybody at 141. And so now, I think he feels that he can beat you with technique or with just, raw power and kind of willing himself through different situations. And when you have that combination out there on the mat, I'd say kind of the same thing that Greg Kerkvliet has at heavyweight. It just that mindset then is that, I can't be beat.
Anybody surprised you so far in this lineup?
Van Ness is still probably the guy that, and it's not that I didn't think he had potential, and that, I just thought it was going to take him a while to wrestle himself into being kind of what we're seeing at the early stage of the season. The fact that he's where he's at this stage of the season, and listen, both he and Facundo at 65 are in loaded weight classes, just deep top-end talent at each weight class. And again, I wouldn't say that Van Ness is surprising me in terms of what he's doing. It's just how quickly he's doing it. And, he's really shown some grit in some of these early matches, and you just don't know that. I mean, you see it in the room, and you get a pretty good feel for it. But until you get in a match where you need to dig deep a little bit and really figure some things out against a guy that's giving you some problems. And we've seen that a couple of times already from Van Ness. And I think we'll see it with Facundo. He just hasn't had the opportunity yet to face top-level guys, and he'll certainly get that opportunity in New Orleans. Yeah,
so let's talk about New Orleans for a moment, the opportunity to see, quote, better competition across the board. Give us an idea of what, in terms of the challenge of this that faces Penn State and going down for the 2 days.
Yeah, I think it's an exciting few matchups for Penn State. I think Central Michigan is just one of those really solid dual meet teams.
Always good. They're always good.
They don't have as many top-end guys that are going to contend for national title honors at the end of the year, but they just have a bunch of really solid guys that they, Casey Cunningham will tell you, Tom Borelli was his coach. He's still at Central Michigan, and Borelli is about as good a technician as you're going to find in the country. So his guys are going to be well prepared, well coached, and again, a very solid team, but certainly a team that on paper Penn State, dual meet score-wise, should handle fairly easily. And then you go to North Carolina, a little more top-end talent, a few more guys that I think can contend for high-end All-American. But again, I think Penn State, the matchup there favors them, and you certainly like their chances. But I think, again, a couple of the guys should get really good tests and good measuring stick opportunities there. And then, assuming it'll be either Iowa State or Cornell that they'll face on Tuesday night. And either team, they're both loaded with high-end All-American national title contenders. And again, if Penn State's healthy and is wrestling its full lineup on Tuesday night, which is the plan, I think Penn State's obviously going to be very tough to beat. But I think that both of those teams are both have enough high-end talent and are solid enough up and down the lineup that if Penn State's not on, it could be a dangerous dual meet. But again, I think that the real benefit there is getting guys like Terrell Barraclough and the freshman that we mentioned, the opportunity to face some of that top-end competition and, possibly be in a situation where they have to, produce, at least keep a score to a decision for Penn State to be able to accomplish what it wants to and get out of there still undefeated.
In all the years you've done this, and now especially in recent years, how do you view success, Jeff? Do you view success in the team score, or are you thinking about success in terms of individuals?
Yeah, I will tell you that my mindset has changed with Cal.
That's right. No,
the way he approaches
exactly
it, for
right.
sure.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, and there's no question, and I do watch now. All right, is this guy making the adjustments that they're working on in practice, and that that they know they needed to improve on from the previous match. And you're right. Depending on the kid, like a Gary Steen may lose, but you may be thrilled with hey man, he really has figured out that part of his game, and now we can go to work seeing some of the other parts. Whereas somebody else may win, and you're like, oh man, yeah, but the double leg that they've been working on for 2 weeks, never even tried it. So yeah, it definitely has changed, and yeah, I do watch. I try to be fair to the kid. Obviously, a win is a win, and that's a big deal at this level of wrestling. But yeah, I'm watching to see. Okay, are these guys doing what's kind of being asked and what they're working on in the room right now, and is that translating to what both the kids and the coaches want to see in terms of results and the steps along the way to where they can make this thing all come together in March.
Yeah, because when it comes to winning and losing dual meets, obviously that's the first thing I look at is the score. I got it. But when I start looking at the lineup and so forth, I'm always thinking now about March whenever I watch Penn State. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it. Are they making the steps forward individually to get them to March?
Yeah, for sure. And you're wanting to see with guys like Bravo Young and Srirachi and Brooks, are they widening that gap the way they want to be? And if not, are there little things there that they just need to go back to work on technique wise and make some adjustments? And then again, with the younger guys, probably Alex Facundo is the guy I'm most excited to see, because I just want to see, when he gets in a match against a really top end guy, not even necessarily whether he wins or loses, but is he staying mentally on top of it? Is he making some of those adjustments that like we've seen Van Ness making a couple of his matches already this season during the match? And then again, regardless of the results, I think this is just going to be a really beneficial competition for this team when March rolls around.
Jeff, enjoy it going down there, the competition, because, no matter what, we kid around about going to restaurants, but it's a business trip. And take care of business like you always do. We look forward to hearing it. And when you do get a chance, enjoy being in New Orleans.
Yep, for sure. We will do both things.
Merry Christmas to you and that beautiful family of yours, by the way.
Merry Christmas to you, Steve. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff. The great Jeff Byers, play-by-play voice, Penn State Wrestling. Come back with more in a moment. Brought to you by Brewers Outlet on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
When car repairs get difficult,
Well, I just don't know. Me neither.
we get good. Sunbury Motors. More than quality new and used cars, Sunbury Motors specializes in complicated auto repair diagnosis. They can handle intricate repairs and even complete auto body with service open Monday through Friday, 7 till 4. And Sunbury Motors has made simple repairs easy. Maintaining your vehicle is necessary. Finding the time to do it is difficult. Welcome to Sunbury Motors Quick Lane. Open 7 till 4, Monday through Friday. Just walk in or call ahead. Relax in their remodeled waiting room with Wi-Fi, beverages, and snacks. While Sunbury Motors factory trained techs take care of your oil change, tire alignments, brakes, and inspections. Quick Lane, 6:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, Saturday, 6:30 till 2. Sunbury Motors, Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. We take the out of auto repair.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Today's show brought to you by Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. Imports, domestics, microbrews, the best selection of beer anywhere. Wine coolers, water, soft drinks, snacks. They roast their peanuts fresh and out every day. 6 great flavors of slushies. And the pickle bar led by the barrels and the dills, indeed second to none. And believe me, it is it's the holiday season. And since it's the holiday season, enjoy every second of it. Okay? Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. We're in the Sunbury Motors studio, Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors, Kia, routes 11 and 15, Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Time now to bring in the king, have a little fun on a Friday.
We're still waiting on him.
What?
I don't know. He emailed me all the picks for today, so I know he's coming. I guess he's just running a little late.
This is disgraceful.
Aren't they still getting snow up there in New England?
I don't think now they are. No.
Oh, well, then I don't know.
An answer I've heard from you how many times now? I mean, come on, man. Now, we'll get a hold of him shortly. Meanwhile, the bowl games looked like Harris got hurt in the game against Troy. UTSA was up 12-0. I think they're at halftime now. Why Messi is not just the best soccer player ever, but the best male athlete ever. Really? Okay. 12-7 at halftime.
Yep.
UTSA, San Antonio leading Troy. Troy, of course, from Alabama. That last drive where Troy scored was actually the first time the entire game they'd crossed midfield. So, and you have 3 Saturday games tomorrow in the NFL, right? UAB already won today. Did you see how Miami of Ohio, they got to the 2-yard line at the end? Came up just short. 2-yard line. Wow. We had Dick Vermeil on the show, and they've got that big event coming up tonight here in Bellefonte. We had Dick Vermeil on the show last week. Think about how he won the Super Bowl. Mike Jones stopped Dyson at the 1-yard line in the last play of the game.
Exactly right. Another guy who would make that play, the King, who now officially joins us after battling some traffic.
Traffic? In stores?
Yeah, you battled some traffic on the way home, right, King?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Hey, what do you think about that quarterback for the Niners?
You know what? He's played very well to this point. You know what he's done? The biggest thing that he has done is that he has not thrown an interception. Right. He's got the 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. So what he has done is he's been efficient enough and has not done anything yet to hurt his team. That, to me, is a big part of it.
You know what else is? And I've only heard one commentator say it. He started all 4 years at Iowa State.
Right.
He's played a lot of football. And guys like Mac Jones, you know, they didn't start. They didn't play till some of them their senior year, you know. This guy's got a lot of football games under his belt. He's a rookie, but he's very skilled. Oh.
Yeah. No,
I mean, that's a lot. If you play that much football, you know, and he was a leader. He's got the leadership qualities. To me, he reminds me of Joe Montana. I don't know why.
Well, and look, he's got – I am very impressed with him. He's played very well to this point. And you got to give him a lot of credit for what he's done.
Did you see that play last night where he and he pumped to the left, then he did a 360 and pumped to the right, and then hit the tight end over the middle? That's just like, wow. You know, that's just really good football.
Look, that's good stuff. That's really good stuff, no doubt. And I give him a lot. I give him a lot of credit for what he's done to this point. The key part to me is he has not made mistakes, and that's
he hasn't got whacked either.
Right, but he's got a running game. He's got a running game.
He's fast. Do you see that slide he made last night?
That shows you how smart he is. That's the experience of 4 years as a starting quarterback at Iowa State. Although he and Kittle were funny last night. They looked over, you know, because Iowa plays Iowa State every year.
Yeah.
And Kittle played for Iowa. Kittle looks over. He says, "How many times you beat Iowa?" Not enough.
Well, even Boza, after the game, he said they were interviewing him. They asked how they felt about him. He said, you know, we knew right away he was going to be good. But he said, man, did you see that slide? It's like the reporter was like, yeah, that was pretty cool. He says, man, you can't teach that, you know?
No, you cannot. See, that's the key. You cannot teach that part of it. And I'll give you one. The rookie running back at the end of the game, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter. He breaks free. He gets inside the 10. Now, what he should do is he should slide.
Right.
Okay, because Seattle's out of timeouts. See, that's what Saquon Barkley did when the Giants beat the Ravens. Barkley's going to score a touchdown. He slides at the 3-yard line, ends the game. You know, you can't put a price on brains to go with athleticism.
Right. I mean, last night, if they scored that touchdown, it was out of reach. I mean, that's not.
I know, but I'm saying
it was only like 50 seconds left. But you're right. He should have fallen down. But I mean, I mean, when you're a running back for the San Francisco 49ers and they bring in Christian McCaffrey, you're like, this is my only shot, you know.
No,
I'm going to score
totally
a touchdown on Amazon Prime TV. Well, I don't
blame him at all. I don't blame him at all. I'm just saying that a veteran will think a little differently than a kid.
Right.
And that you know, and that's why I gave Purdy a lot of credit because he was thinking a lot. I mean, he's thinking way differently than the kid.
Yeah, and all the players in the team, they're all saying the same thing. Are you surprised? I said no. From day one, he was different, and they knew it. You know, but in the business world, you've got all the two quarterbacks ahead of him making a fortune. You know, you can't. Yeah. You know, now you're. I think Purdy stays quarterback. I think Washington's shown that. Keeping, I forgot his name, but
Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, Wentz is the backup. You know, it has to stay that way. So you don't necessarily, if you lose your job because of an injury and the other guy is better, you lost your job. That's the way it goes. So
that's what we tried to tell the soup.
Fouled. That spells foul.
We kept trying to tell him over and over again.
Hey, Penn State basketball is good this year, huh?
Yeah, I noticed.
7-3.
7-3. They got a 4-game homestand coming up. Sunday they got Canisius, which is the right kind of opponent to play after finals. Then they have Quinnipiac, and then they have Delaware State. Then they're back into the Big Ten with Iowa. The win over Illinois was a big, big boost.
Sure, you could be 10-3 going into the Big Ten.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, so
all right.
We'll watch you in the NCAA tournament, man. I want you to fly around the country again. That'd be great. Then you can bring me. But I won't fly, so I'll take a train. There's no way you put me in an airplane. So I'd rather crawl.
Well, then you'd love what I'm doing on the bowl trip. So I'm flying out commercially on the 30th, 6 a.m. flight to Newark. I got a flight from Newark to LAX that gets me at 11:30 in the morning. Then on the 3rd, I got a fly from LAX to Detroit because I got a game at Michigan on the 4th, and then I come back in the basketball charter.
That would age me 20 years. I'd have to take some type of drug to knock me out. You know.
Come on.
No, put me in the luggage compartment or something. I make too many parts for airplanes. You don't understand. And I see what these guys do. It's frightening. They cut corners left and right. So.
Oh, that makes me feel better. Have you done anything for parts of the Dreamliner?
John Madden, take a train. Oh.
I mean, ever do anything for a Dreamliner?
What?
No. Make any parts for the Dreamliner?
Oh, my almighty!
Because that's what I'm flying out to Los Angeles.
No, you're perfectly safe. If they were going to crash, they'd crash. But I don't know.
Well, that's what I always tell. That's what I always tell them all the time.
I'm on a job right now. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They used to make me pee in a cup. You know, I don't have to do that anymore. How
Get the lingerie on the deck. Call the janitor.
What a relief for all of us.
I'm just telling you. They 5 years ago, they called me up and they said they wanted me to do a bunch of welding for them. And they said, can your welder pass a drug test? So I went out and I asked my welder, can you pass a drug test? He said, give me 3 weeks. I said, that's not reassuring.
That's exactly
I went back and said, apparently he's on drugs. He can't pass a test. And he said, can you? And I said, yeah. He said, we just need one person in the building to pass the drug test. I said, holy crap.
Fabulous.
Okay.
Great news.
Well, I passed the drug test, yeah. So,
perfect.
But anyway.
Well, now we know all that. Let's take a break. Picks in a moment here on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Hey, by the way, before we move on, just one quick note. The NCAA is going to allow freshmen to play in bowl games. If they're at the limit of 4 games played in the season, the bowl game will not count against their eligibility. So they made that announcement today.
All right. There we go.
Is he Baker, governor of Massachusetts going to be the head of the NCAA.
Yep.
He's a good man. He's a good guy.
Yeah, no, they could have picked a janitor. He'd be a better choice than.
Yeah, it's true.
This guy's good. He's sharp as a tack.
I'm sure he's great. I'm sure he's sharp. Anything that over this guy, I'm for. All right.
Yep.
So let's get to games and picks.
All right. So last week, of course, this is our first week just doing NFL with college into the bowl season. Now we did those picks. So Steve went 4-1 last week. He's 83-57. I went 3-2. I'm 87-53. King went 1-4. He's 75-64.
Which one did I win?
You won the
Pittsburgh.
No, I have to go back and look. I forget. I have to go back and look. I forget. I honestly don't remember.
Pittsburgh. Well, whose idea was it to do this friggin'
the point spread? So this was your idea.
Yeah, I know. It's not working out well for me.
All right, well, let's start it off with some Saturday showcase football tomorrow. This is the night game. Miami at Buffalo with more snow coming to Buffalo, like 3 feet maybe. We'll see how this goes. Miami is given 7.5 on the road. King.
I got Buffalo. Miami was horrible last week against the Chargers. Buffalo is going to blow them out.
Steve.
I'll go with the Bills. I think I know there's a point spread here, but I'll go with the Bills.
I like the Bills to win the game, but I'm taking Miami in the points because these types of games, especially if you're going to have 3 feet of snow on the ground, you're going to have turnovers galore. And Josh Allen, he's had a heck of a year still, but he's turned the ball over a lot. And that's going to keep the Dolphins in this game. So I think the Bills still win, but I think it's a close, sloppy game. I'll take Miami in the points.
Good pick.
All right, next one.
What did you say? It's going to be close and sloppy? It sounds like your dinner table. All right,
Actually, yes, that's very true, especially Marky Mark. Last night was the messiest meal, spaghetti and meatballs. That's always a slop fest. Yeah. Hose them down in the bathtub afterwards. Anyway. Detroit and the Jets. No Mike White for the Jets, so it's going to be Zach Wilson who got demoted, but now he's going to get to start again. Detroit, 1-point favorite on the road. Steve.
Boy, I'll tell you, I'm with Kev. I really like the Lions. They're playing great for this guy. I go with Detroit.
Me too. I love the Lions in this game. King?
Oh, Detroit. Especially if Zach Wilson's playing.
Legitimate chance to still be in the playoffs, too. They are right there at 6-7.
If that team hates him, they're not going to play the same for him.
No, that's also true. Yes. All right, now we got the Steelers. No Kenny Pickett this week. We don't know who's going to start at quarterback yet. But either way, Steelers are given 2.5 on the road to Carolina. King.
Carolina's playing really, really well. I'll take Carolina.
Steve.
How bad is it that Brock Purdy has hardly played and has more touchdown passes than Kenny Pickett?
Yeah, that's not great.
Not good. I mean, Pickett's not going to play in the game. I'm going to pick Carolina.
I'm going to go Carolina, too, just because I don't know what you're going to get from Pittsburgh at this point. I wouldn't be shocked if Carolina blows it and Pittsburgh somehow steals a win, but I'm going to lean Carolina here myself.
By the way, Pittsburgh is 3-0 against that division.
Yes, that's true.
They're 2-8 against everybody else, but they're 3-8 against that division. I'd like to point out they're not in that division.
Correct. And Carolina still has somewhat of is still mathematically alive for the title, which shows you that division.
Oh, for goodness sakes, Mount Carmel's still mathematically alive for the NFC East.
Also true. All right, Jacksonville hosting Dallas. Dallas 4.5-point favorite on the road. King.
I got Jacksonville.
I like it.
Yeah. I think they're playing really well. And they're very, very well coached. So.
Yes, sir, they are.
Yeah,
yep.
They're a good
Doug
team.
Pete's really good. Yep.
Steve?
Dallas to set up the epic showdown next week where the Eagles will get crushed like a grape.
No, they won't. Against Dallas? Oh, jeez.
I just can't. We got to have some fun here, for goodness sakes.
The big game is going to be San Francisco and Philadelphia. That is a must-see. That is going to be what a game.
That's going to be the game because the defense for the Niners is so good.
Yeah.
I still think either way the Eagles are in a good spot, no matter how this goes down. But would have been nice to see Dallas blow it last week and pull off a Cowboy egg at home against the Texans. But
you're so bitter.
I'm going Dallas plus the 4.5.
You're just so bitter.
I think it's like a one-score game. But
you're bitter.
I hope Jacksonville wins though. That'd be great.
You're bitter.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Hate Zeke Elliott too, and let's stop there. New England a 1-point favorite on the road at Vegas. King.
Yeah, I take New England. I put this game because it's a must-win game for both teams, and then you got Belichick against his ex-coach. But I think New England figures out a way to win this game.
I'm going New England.
They have to win.
Yeah, I'm going New England too. Steve.
I'm going to pick Las Vegas. I don't know. Every time I watch New England, it doesn't light me up.
All right. I like it.
There's nothing to light up. Their offense is horrible. I mean, he's got a defensive coordinator coaching offense, but McDaniel's a lousy head coach. Vegas should be in the playoffs, not playing for the playoffs. They should be in the playoffs with the talent they have.
McDaniel speaks very highly of you.
I normally get that speech. All right, battle of the NFC East really more the playoffs in the NFC East. Washington and the Giants. Washington is the Giants giving 4.5 on the road.
Heineke's the difference. Washington wins.
Yeah, I got the Commanders. King.
I got Washington. The Giants are back to being the team we love. Suck.
Oh, good. Them.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The beverage supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.